Hey everybody, welcome back to RAS Reviews. So today, just kind of brainstorming. We're getting ready to go camping, and I want to bring some K-cups with us and keep them in the camper. However, I was looking or thinking about a storage solution for them. So we're going to try something out today. No idea if it's going to work. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use 3 pieces of 3mm basswood and the Xtool S1. I'm going to go ahead and get Xtool Creative Space opened up here. Okay, so we're going to take our first piece of wood and go ahead and get it marked off. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and measure our distance. And now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and mark our area. So now my thought process is I want a circle that this K-cup can drop into here in a groove so it can slide down when it's in there being held. So first thing that we'll do is figure out what the circumference of, well, I guess in this case the diameter of this K-cup is, and it looks like it's about 50.5 millimeters. So let's get us a circle. And we'll make that 50. I might be able to type 50.5. Just drop that here. And then let's see, we'll go by the neck on this little lip here. Make sure it's at 0. And that looks like 45, 45.3. We'll just do 45.4 just in case I was pushing on it. I already forgot what I said. 45.4. .4. Okay, now I just want to kind of bisect these a little bit and just make sure we're in the center here. All right, I'll drag this down just to make it a little bit bigger. We'll say right about there. Now I'm just going to group these two together just so I can move them as one piece here. All right. So let's duplicate that 3 times. And we'll just space those out. All right, that looks about good enough to me. I don't think it would be nice if, and maybe it is, I just don't know where it is, but it would be nice if, like in Cricut, you have distribute evenly, but I don't see that as an option here. Okay, so we're definitely going to want to have all that cut. Let's change that to cut. We're on basswood already. Let's process that. Okay, so while that's going, we're going to want to make a frame to go around all of that, basically because we're going to need a space. So you see I've got 2 pieces of basswood here. If I just cut it, there'd be nowhere for it to move down to. So we're just going to, and I'll show you here, we're just going to cut a frame around the inside so that way the K-cups have a place to slide. So while that's cutting, I'm just going to hit minimize, and I'll draw another rectangular. Again, we'll make sure we're covering all of it. Let's see how big that actually is. So we got about 10 millimeters, so that's not bad. That'll be a good frame for the sides. Now let's check the top. I just want to make sure we're not in the locked profile here. Measure. About 12 millimeters. We got 18 to there. That should be good. Right? Because if we're saying that's the top, let's just double check this. Measurement from the top to our frame is 12 millimeters. Yeah, I think we'll be good there. But what we're going to do is we're going to Command A. We'll change all the output to off and just turn on the output for our frame here. Okay, without boring you with the details, I will go ahead and cut the frame and then we'll come back together when it's time to put everything together. Okay, we've got all three pieces cut here. Let's give it a test run. Well, actually, let me put some clamps on here just so it'll actually be like when it's all together. Okay, so for the moment of truth, booyah. So when it's all together, that's how it'll be. We can just take it out and slide her back in. So if you end up using my measurements, I would say you can make that initial circle a little bit bigger because it's a little bit tight going in there, but at the same time it works. And they'll just stack in there like such. Yeah, you see with that circle, at times gets a little bit difficult to get it started and kind of get it out. So what I'm going to recommend and do myself is probably just glue the outside and not these insides, just so we have the ability for some play in there. So yeah, definitely if you're going to try this based off of this video, I would make that initial circle, maybe a half a millimeter bigger. You can probably get away with a whole nother millimeter. I don't know. Let's try and see if we can do this without screwing everything up. All right, let's turn off that square. Let's ungroup everything. Let's take our circle and let's go to 51.5. 0.5. Now I'm not doing copy and paste because I want to make sure that the original position of these circles stay exactly where they are. Okay, let's try to put this in there. Thankfully, we have a reference mark by lining it up on the 4. All right, let's see if that works. So we want output on, output on, output on, output on. Let's make sure all these are off. All right, let's try and see if this works. Oh, that's much gooder. So we went with 51.5 millimeters for that circle, for the diameter of that circle. And now you'll see that goes in there so much better now. And comes out so much better. All right, I think that worked. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw some glue on there to hold everything all together. And there we go, problem solved. Thanks so much for sticking around during my brainstorming session, because that's about all that turned out to be. So if I'll put the measurements down here. So again, it was using a 12 by 12 piece of basswood. Our outside frame I did at 285.75 millimeters. Then our circles were 51.5 for the diameter, and our rectangles were 45.4 millimeters for width. And then length, I just did 206, but you can shorten it if you want to put like a saying down here or whatever. But that part is up to you. So thanks so much for sticking around. We'll catch you on the next video. Bye.